Okay, we are now broadcasting live. So, hello and welcome to today's IELTS writing webinar. My name is Jamie. I'm be the host of today's session. So, welcome in everyone. If you are here and in the webinar, please say hello in the chat. You can talk to us via the chat function. And you can also ask questions via the Q&A. So welcome in. Hello, Busra. Hi, Vineet. Hi there, Paul. Hi, Mirza. Welcome in. Hi, Maria. Welcome in, everyone. So I'll just give you a brief introduction to myself. I'm Jamie. I'm here on behalf of IELTSonlinetest.com. I'm an IELTS tutor and trainer with over 10 years experience helping students to succeed in the IELTS test. Hello, welcome in, everyone. So I'll be the host for today's session. That means I'll be talking with you in the chat. I'll also be helping to answer your Q&A at the end of the presentation. And I can help by posting some useful resources in the chat as well. Now, our presenter today is Stephen. He is a very experienced IELTS trainer and expert from the UK. He has worked for many years in China, teaching academic English and IELTS preparation. And he'll be joining us today from England in the UK. So he is just getting his materials ready and will be joining us in a moment. While we're waiting for him to join, please feel free to say hello in the chat. Let us know where you are. You can also maybe tell us a bit about, what do you want to achieve in the IELTS? Which band are you looking for? And if you like, you can say, what do you find difficult, particularly about task 1? So, do you find the grammar difficult? Do you find it difficult to understand the chart? Let us know any questions you have, and we'll do our best to help you and to answer your questions. So, welcome in, everyone. If you've joined us in the chat, I can see Saud from Saudi Arabia is looking for a band 6. Excellent. Hi there, Jel. 6.5. That's right. For some places, you need 6.5. For others, you might need a 7 or higher. It just depends. In this webinar, we will look at a very strong example for a band 9 in all the different criteria. So hopefully you can get some useful language and useful ideas that can improve your writing to help you get the task, the score you need. Can I just check, can you guys hear me and can you see me okay? I can see some messages in the chat that if you can't hear me or see me. So please let me know if I'm clear, loud and clear, okay? Excellent. If you can't see me or hear me, please check your settings. You should be able to access them and it should be clear enough for you. Excellent. So welcome in, everyone. So Saud is saying, have enough vocabulary, but I sometimes feel I don't know anything. Well, that's, if your vocabulary is good, Saud, then it's just a case of using it appropriately. So you should, hopefully this webinar will give you some ideas of how you can use specific vocabulary accurately to describe a dynamic chart. That means a change over time. Hi there. Arif, you're saying it's difficult to change from simple to complex sentences. Okay, that's excellent. That's also something we can look at, how you can improve the complexity of your writing using linking words, words like because, while, subordinating conjunctions that can help you link shorter sentences together to make more complex sentences. Excellent. Hi there, Slava. Welcome in. Nice to meet you. I'm sure you're capable of getting a high score. And Chester, welcome in as well. You've said the map question is uncommon. That's very true. We have 2 previous webinars on describing a map, and they are available on our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel. So you can actually watch the recordings for these webinars. I'm putting the link. I will just change my settings and I'll put the link in the chat just now. You can see for our Facebook and our YouTube, you'll be able to check out videos from previous webinars. So I hope that's helpful for you. Before we start, guys, if you're here in the chat, you can change your settings so that it says all panelists and attendees. This will help share your answers with everyone in the chat. Hi, Anthony, welcome in. So you can, you'll be able to benefit from each other's answers. You'll be able to see each other's answers, okay? So, yeah, that's right, Mirza. We haven't been putting so much on our Facebook. The new videos are now on our YouTube page. So if you want to make sure you see the latest videos, you can go to our YouTube page. You'll be able to see them on there. All right. Yeah, I can see some of you have changed your settings now, so that's excellent. Okay, we are waiting for our presenter to join us, so we'll give him a couple more minutes. While we're waiting, I will just give you a brief introduction to the session. If you've visited our webinars before, it's a similar process. We will have about a 35-minute presentation. Today we're focusing on writing task 1, describing a dynamic chart. We'll go through the presentation, and then afterwards you'll have an opportunity to ask questions in a Q&A. So there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. If you could add, I can see we have 6 questions in there already, which is great. If you can add your questions to the Q&A, we will discuss them after the presentation, okay? 1 hour session. Now, we have just had our first presenter, Stephen. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Stephen, I can't actually hear you, so if you can turn your sound on, that would be excellent. There we go.
Hi guys, sorry about that. Had a few technical issues there. That's the beauty of modern technology.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Stephen. No problem at all. So welcome in. Stephen, I'm currently sharing my screen with our students. So I'm going to, could you start a new share so that you're able to
no problem.
Yeah, you should be able to kind of override my screen share there. There we go.
Okay.
Excellent.
Let's have a look.
Okay. Oh, you're getting a lot of hellos from everyone in the chat. So yeah, thanks guys.
Yeah, good to be here guys. So just give me a sec. Let this load up.
Excellent. Yep. There you go. Just to check everyone, can you see and hear Stephen okay now, guys? Is that, yep, perfect.
Brilliant. Okay, so we should be loading anytime soon.
Fantastic. So, yeah, we have a good number of people with us. While Stephen's setting up, I will just give a brief introduction for those of you who have just joined us. Stephen is a very experienced IELTS trainer and expert with over 17 years experience helping students to succeed in the IELTS test. He has worked extensively in China, including a range of different institutions there, and is now back in the UK. So, yeah, welcome. Ronak is asking, where is Stephen from? Stephen, if you want to...
Yeah, I'm from the UK, Newcastle upon Tyne. Not very sunny today, unfortunately. So I've got the light on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's same here in Edinburgh, Stephen. It's a pretty miserable grey day today. Excellent. Hi there,
Okay.
Paul from Nigeria. Welcome in. Okay, I think, Stephen, if you're ready to go, then I think...
Just about ready to rock and roll.
Excellent. In that case,
we'll have no more technical issues.
Perfect. I'll hand over to you. Thanks very much, Stephen.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jamie. Okay, guys, so we'll start. Fingers crossed. So we'll have a look at what the aims are here. So by the end of this webinar, you will be able to identify and select key features of a dynamic chart. And then use an appropriate structure for your task 1. And then we want to help you write a good introduction and a good overview, and to use a range of useful language to describe trends in detail. So it's important with your task 1s that you're identifying and selecting the key features. Okay, so there's our chart. So the overview for the task. So we have to describe a chart. So task requirements, 150 words. It's recommended you take 20 minutes. Summarize the information and select the key features. Report the data only, no opinion. So a couple of questions for you guys. I'll open the chat box. If any of you have taken the test before, did you begin with your task 1 or your task 2? Task 1, task 1, task 1, task 1. Okay, a lot of task 1s. So my advice to you is always do your task 1 last. There's a reason for that. Obviously, task 2 is the most important essay or the most important piece of writing. So if you don't finish your task 2, what paragraph are you likely to be missing? Conclusion. So if you have no conclusion, it's a disaster for your task 2. So always finish with your task 1. Make sure you do your task 2 first and then follow that up with your task 1. Okay? Right. No opinion, as we mentioned, save that for your task 2. All right, let's have a look. So we need to interpret the data. So we need to think of the type of chart. So what type of chart is it, everyone? What are we looking at today? Line chart, yeah, line graph, good. And what's being measured? So what are we measuring here? So what are we measuring? What are we looking for? Recycling rate, yeah, good, good, good. And then time period. So we've got our time period. And then we need to think about suitable tenses. So what tense are we going to use here? Yeah, past tense. Good. Coming in thick and fast there, guys. That's good. Faster typers than me. So another way you can think about this is you can ask WH questions. So what is the subject? Where is the subject? When is the subject? Okay, that's another way of doing it. Yeah. So What is the subject? Where is the subject? When is the subject? That's another way you can do it. Key features. Okay, see how quick you can type now, guys. What do we got here? Key features. Yeah, recycling rates. Yeah. Different materials. Yeah. Okay. So what would you say are the key features? Yeah, low. Okay, we got particular country, recycle rates, different materials, percentages. Okay. Good. Very good. So when you're looking at it, you want to kind of identify what's going on. So you're selecting the key features out there. Let me just open the chat box, see what else we've got. Increasing trend, recycling. Yeah. Highest rate paper and cardboard. Okay, well, Ronak, we're going to come to the first paragraph, so don't worry. Okay, good. So let's have a look at the key features then. So we need to identify the main trends, patterns and events. Select 2 or 3 main points. And then we need to describe these in, 1 to 3 sentences after your introduction. And you don't include detailed data in your overview. Why would you not include any detailed data in your overview? Anyone? Why would you not include detailed data in your overview? Well, we know, yeah, because it's an overview. Yeah, that's correct. Any other reasons? Yeah, it's a summary. It's a summary sentence, so you don't need any data. If you're putting data in it, you're losing information for the body. And remember, you're only writing 150 words, so it's not a lot. Okay, good. Right, let's have a look. So, key features. What does the data do? So, what's happening? So, have a look. We've got increasing, yeah, good. Yeah, we've got a change. Fluctuating, yeah. Increase, yeah, increase, decrease. Okay, good. Everyone's on the right lines. So it goes up and down. So some of you have already said it's fluctuated. Anything that remains stable or steady. So anything remaining stable. Yeah, good. Plastics, good. Peaks and lows. So any peaks, any lows? Peaks or lows? Okay, yeah, good. All right. Now, overall increase or decrease, some of you have already answered that, but let's have a look. Yeah, good. Right. I'll just close off the chat box there so I can see what I'm doing. So highest, some of you already got that, paper and cardboard. And then what about changes? Okay, yeah, good. Aluminium, yeah. Yes, Ronald, you would have to mention all the materials, otherwise the task is not complete. Okay, so we've got paper and cardboard decreases after around 94. All of the others There's a slight increase for plastics, but they all increase, okay? So everyone's pretty good here. You've all identified the main features, the key features, so well done. So we look at an example structure. So we'll have our introduction, so followed by an overview, and then body A, we need some details. Body B, we also need details. Now you'll notice the overview is done in second there. So after the introduction, can anyone tell me why most teachers would advise you to do that? I get asked this a lot. Can the overview go last or should it go second? But most often we would teach to put it after the introduction. Can anyone think why you would do that? Yeah, anyone think why? Common sense. Well, not necessarily, because it's a summary sentence. It might be common sense to put it last. Well, there's a reason for that, because the overview is the most, well, it's one of the most significant features of your task 1. If you don't have it, you won't get higher than a 5 for task achievement. So the reason you put it second is you've got it on there straight away. Yeah. If you don't finish your task 1 and you write your overview last, then that means you've already automatically got 5 for task achievement. So that's why it's a good idea to put it straight after your introduction. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Get rid of that. Okay. So we're going to state what the charts show by paraphrasing the title. So 1 or 2 sentences. Outline 3 to 4 main points, trends and events, 2 to 4 sentences. And then give details, body A, given specific data and examples, 3 to 5 sentences. And then describe details, body B, giving specific data, examples, and sentences. So here we are. So we've got our question prompt, so we need to write our introduction. So we can paraphrase the question prompt or title. We'll use some synonyms and grammar transformation. And then we need to be accurate and precise. And then we don't want to write a list of more than 5 items. So we've got shows there. Now everyone always wants to change shows. So, but you need to take care that you use good vocabulary for that. I'll talk about that in a second. We've got proportion, 4 different materials, recycled from 1982 to 2010, particular country. Okay, so the graph, so what are you going to change shows to? Let me open the chat box here. Represents, okay, indicates, illustrates, yeah. Depicts, I wouldn't use depicts, yeah. Not compares, provides, display, I would avoid, picturize, I would avoid. Okay, let's have a look. Some good examples, but like I mentioned, you need to be careful what you change this to. So we use illustrates here, but I often see demonstrates, depicts, describes. Well, demonstrate, you show someone how to do something. Describe is more something that's spoken. So you need to be careful with your choice of words. So illustrates, so the. So what are we going to put next? Percentage. Okay. Right, let's have a look. Recycling rates. So we're going to change different materials of So how can we change that? Okay, 4 kinds of waste. Yeah, you could do that actually. So we'll have a look. 4 types of materials, and then we've listed them. Okay, so a couple of you got that, so that's good. So we're going to say in, so we've got particular there. What are you going to change that to? Specific. Okay. Well, 1. I'll just move my face there so I can see what I'm doing. So 1 country, and then we've just changed from to between. So there's our introduction. Okay. So it's nicely rephrased, and we've got the accurate information in there. So there's 5 types of dynamic change, or change in a dynamic graph. So how would you describe that one? Anyone describe that? Increase, yeah, okay, good. Steady, increase, rapid. Okay, what have we got there? Decrease. How are you going to describe this one? Yeah, remain stable. Yeah, good. This one? Fluctuating, yeah, fluctuated. Yeah, good. And then the last one there. What have we got there? Peak, yeah, very good. Okay, that's good. So we'll have a look at some useful language here. Okay, I'll just move this down so I can see. So we've got increase, decrease, stay the same, go up and down. And then we have reach a high or low. So let's have a look. So rise, where's rise going to go on the table? Yeah. Remain constant. Okay, everyone's very quick. Fluctuate. Yeah. Reach a peak. Okay, good. Oops, I gave you that one. Fall. Yeah, good. Grow. Okay, very good. Rise and fall. Okay, good. Decline. Okay. Number 2, vary. Okay. So go up and down. Fall to a minimum. Okay. 5. Climb. I think everyone's on the right lines. There's just a delay in your messages coming through. So climb and go to number 1. Yeah, that's good. Everyone's got it. Just your messages coming through. Yeah, stay stable. Good. Drop. Okay, 2, and then reach a maximum. Okay, very good. Well done, guys. Very good. Very impressed. So we'll have a look at the useful language. So the number of cars. So the number of cars, what? So is increase the correct word form? Yeah, increased. Okay. There was in the number of cars. Well, increase. So there we've got increase. The number of cars experienced an. Okay, good. Let me just get there. The number of cars experienced an what? How would we describe the increase? Something increase. Okay, steady. Good. Well done. So let's have a look at this one. The number of cars. Yeah, okay, Diane's got that. Fluctuated. Then so fluctuated then. Okay. Change that to fell. Dropped. The number of cars fluctuated, then fell. Okay. Well, maybe fell down is not appropriate, really. Okay. Sharply. Yeah. Good. After fluctuating, the number of cars experienced a fall. I gave you that. My keypad is too sensitive. After fluctuating, the number of cars experienced a. I think Ricardo plummeted would be more dramatic than that. Yeah, it would be sharper than that. So, sharp fall. Okay. So, here we've got the band descriptors here. So, if we look at 5, recounts detail mechanically, no clear overview. So, it's like I was saying in the beginning. You need to have a clear overview. There may be no data support the description. Okay, so that means you haven't adequately reported the data, so there's data missing. Presents an overview with information appropriately selected. However, the lucky 7 presents a clear overview of the main trends, differences, or stages. So that's what you need to be aiming for. So writing an overview. So we've got the highest, paper and cardboard, changes, paper and cardboard, decreases, and 3 increase. So overall, out of the 4 types of material, paper and cardboard, recycling was the, cardboard recycling was the what? I'll just open the chat box so I can see you. Okay, let's have a look. Highest. And then what are we going to put in there? So we want a word that's going to show a contrast. So what would we put in there? So, however, okay. It experienced a gradual decline after 1994. There was a steady increase. So what we're going to put in the gap there? So what would we put in this gap? It looks like I'm freezing occasionally there. Okay. Whereas, so we use a conjunction there to show the comparison. Yeah. Over the same period. So let me just close this. Okay. Now, hopefully you can still hear me. I know that looks like I'm freezing occasionally there. Hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. So there you can see how we've clearly put in the key features for our overview there. So we've used however there because we're showing a contrast, and we've got a conjunction there to show the difference there, the comparison. So very good. So let's have a look at describing the details. So in 1982, about of paper and cardboard was recycled. So what are we going to put in there? Okay, we got, yeah, good. That's good. And then this, so let's have a look. Oops. Looks like I'm freezing again. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Hi, Stephen. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, we can still, well, at least I can still hear you fine.
Yeah.
And I think it is just your screen being a bit slow. So
Yeah.
don't worry too much. We can follow you just fine. And I think,
Good.
you know, from the chat, I think other people, everyone can hear you okay.
Excellent. That's
don't
good.
worry. Just, yeah, we'll soldier through even if
we'll power through. Yeah.
I think it might either be the internet or possibly
Yeah.
the computer might be a bit slow. So
Yeah.
don't worry, don't worry. We'll go through the rest of the paragraphs, and then we can have time for some Q&A as well. So I think this has been really helpful so far. So thank you.
No worries. So we got fluctuated there. So before reaching so what will we put in there, guys? Before reaching yeah, good. Peak. Brilliant. From then on, however, it decreased to a level of 70% in 2010. So what would we put in there? Okay, let's have a look. So steadily. In 1982, all glass containers were recycled. Let's have a look. Okay, half. So instead of actually putting the figure, we've just said half. Okay, so that's still suitable. Yeah, instead of saying 50%, we said half, so that's still acceptable. We're still accurately describing things. This figure, okay, this figure, what? Okay, lots of you got half there, so that's good. Okay, dropped, yeah, declined, very good. But then experienced a gradual, so 40 to 60 will give you a clue. Increase, yeah. So that's our first body. And then aluminium cans were first recycled in yeah. Starting at about 5%, this figure. Yeah, not growed, we would say grew because we're saying past tense. Increased, okay, climbed. Okay, good. And by 2010, it had almost the so risen. On the other hand, recycling of plastics did not begin until okay, yeah, good. And constantly but slowly. Okay, yeah. Grew constantly but slowly. From around 2% to 8% over the period again. Rising from around 2% to about 8% over the period. Excellent. Well done. So there we have our task one. If you put it all together, so we've rephrased the introduction. We've got a clear overview with the key features mentioned, and then our body paragraphs report the main features from the graph. Okay, so that would be an example of a very good task one. So everyone did well there. So you had the, using the words correctly. So a few tips. Don't write straight away, so make a plan. And then don't spend more than 20 minutes on task one. In fact, really, it should only take you 10 minutes to write 150 words. So that means you should have 5 minutes to plan it and 5 minutes to edit it to see if there are any mistakes. As I mentioned, I would suggest that you always do your task one last, okay, rather than first. Don't count your words. Mohammed, no conclusion. No, there's no conclusion because you're not giving an opinion. So all you need is your overview like we have here and begin with overall. And then do practice on IELTS official answer paper, and also you want to practice as many different types. So there's 8 types. So line graph, bar chart, table, you'd have a combination describing a machine or object, a process, a map, and you could have a flow chart. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, I'm guessing there are going to be a lot. So
excellent. Thank you so much, Stephen. Yeah, we'll take a look at your questions in a moment. But first of all, I'd just like to say a big thank you to Stephen for presenting, going through the presentation. Despite some technical issues,
yes.
we made it through. So thank you very much, Stephen. And thank you, everyone, for your suggested answers. Now, I know that you have a lot of questions. To keep this fair, could you please add them to the Q&A box? We'll start with the questions that have been put into the Q&A. If we get through them, then we can start looking at questions in the chat, but we will focus on the Q&A questions first of all. So excellent. Before we do that, I will just very quickly put a link in the chat to some of our resources that we have available. I have put the link in there now. There's a link to our Facebook group and our YouTube channel, which have videos of our previous webinars on them. So feel free to check them out. There's also a link to our premium services, which is we offer both speaking and writing evaluation with qualified IELTS examiners. So you can book a mock test, either a speaking test or a writing test, do a full mock test, and you can get very detailed feedback on your performance, what you can do to improve your score. And that's available through our website. So please feel free to check that out as well. I think I'm having the same problem as you, Stephen.
Yeah,
it's lagging.
It's a Zoom problem today, yeah. I think maybe.
Maybe. Could you hear me okay there?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. All good. So excellent. So I've put the links to that in the chat. Let's jump in and take a look at your questions. So our first question is actually on IELTS listening. Nilofar is asking, what can I do to improve my listening? Exposure doesn't work, they are saying. So just doing general listening isn't helping. What can they do to speed up the process?
There's a number of things you can do there. One is to practice writing shorthand. So, for example, if you were listening and you're taking notes and you hear traffic lights, just put in tra and then LIG, for example. So you're not putting the full form of the words. And then when you've got your 30 seconds to check your answers afterwards, you can put the full form of the words in if you're having a problem with speed. The main thing with you need to make sure you're taking notes. You need to practice your predicting skills. So also look at the grammar if you've got sentence and summary completion. If there's articles, you're listening for a noun. So pay attention to, you should be underlining a lot in the listening test before the recording begins. So I think basically it's a matter of going through the test skills for listening there, rather than just listening and listening and listening. If you've got no focus, then, you have to have a focus. Practice with TED Talks or something like that. Do the listening tests that we have prepared on IELTS online tests, but make sure you're making notes, underlining keywords, looking at grammar. Are you listening for a number, a name, things like that? Check your spelling, but don't just do test practice. You have to combine it. You have to combine test practice. It's a test skill at the end of the day, but you also need to do as much listening as you can in your free time.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephen. Guys, just to remind you, if you have questions, if you can put them into the Q&A, we'll discuss the questions in the Q&A first. We do have quite a lot to go through, so we'll try and get through them quickly. Mirza is asking, if I gave a poor or answer in task 1, but I've written a band 6.5 level in task 2. What would my overall score look like?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a mystery how the British Council actually calculates the overall writing score, because the examiner basically gives a separate score for each one. So you get a separate score for task 1 and a separate score for task 2. Everything goes off to Cambridge and they do their magic, and then they come up with the overall score. So it's very difficult to say what score you would get. What I would say is, if you have written a very good task 2, and let's just say your task 1 wasn't as great, or maybe you didn't quite complete it, I have had students still get a good score, so it wouldn't be a complete disaster.
Yeah.
That's probably the best I can answer that question, really.
I think so. I think that task 2 does seem to be worth more marks than
definitely.
6% to 33, so it's still possible. A question here from Fat Tran. They are asking, they're saying a sentence that they have read: renewables provided the lowest amount of electricity in each year. Is this a correct sentence? Fatran, because I'm reading the sentence, it looks correct to me, depending on the graph that you're being asked to describe. But it seems like a fairly clear description of a graph. That would be a yes. A question from Kareem here. Kareem is asking, are movement and constant graphs more common than others in task 1? So graphs, dynamic charts that ask you to describe change, are they a common type?
I mean, they're all, no one knows. There are plenty of people that try and predict what the next writing test is going to be. No one really knows. For example, I've got one student at the moment, processes don't come up very often, and she's had a process in her 3 past attempts, which is extremely unlucky. So there's no... The data-based task 1s are probably more common than, say, a map or a process or a chart, but there's no guarantee. You need to practice all of them. There's no guarantee that you're not going to get one. So you need to know how to describe data. You need to know how to write a process using the passive and things like that. So practice all of them, and then you won't get caught out.
Definitely. Good advice. A question here from Murugan, who's asking, it's quite a tricky one, how to move from a 6.5 to a 7 in writing.
Okay, well, what happens is it's extremely frustrating for students, because often it's difficult for them to see how they're progressing, but a teacher can see how they're progressing. And they seem to get stuck at that 6.5. But what's happening here is you're probably doing very good with task achievement and coherence, but you're losing your score on grammar and lexis. So to move beyond that 6.5, it's a matter of editing all of your essays, but obviously you have to have a teacher to be able to help you out there. So you need to be editing and correcting all of your mistakes. But again, that's best done with a teacher, because obviously your teacher is going to be correcting your letters, and you should be taking notes on the common errors that you're making and then eliminating them. It's an elimination process, basically. So if you're struggling with articles, review articles. If you're struggling with prepositions, then focus on prepositions. Also work on collocations, and collocations are important in getting a higher band score. So it's a matter of using more complex language and eliminating errors, using collocations well, and you will get past that barrier. It just takes time. It's not easy.
Absolutely. And a related question from Chester, who is asking, how can we improve the range of our vocabulary? So what's a good way to increase, I guess, the range and possibly also the accuracy of vocab?
There's a number of different things you can do. Collocations, so you've got the academic collocations list. You can actually look at that on Google, that academic collocation list, and also you have the academic word list as well. But it's not just a matter of choosing words randomly. You have to understand how these words are used appropriately. And one thing you can do is read more. Choose something that you're interested in and read a lot. Not only is that improving your vocabulary for your writing, it's also improving your vocabulary for the reading part of the test. So reading is a useful, read newspapers, for example. Most of the IELTS topics are related to current events. So read broadsheet newspapers. So you don't want to be reading tabloid newspapers, which only contain show business rubbish. So, read as much as possible. Have a look at the academic word list, academic collocations list, and then you'll slowly build up your vocabulary.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Thanks for that, Stephen. We have a request from Al Nura, who's asking, is it possible to go back to the page with the structure, with the plan on it again? I think it's quite early on in the presentation. While you're navigating to that, I'd just like to say, a few of you have asked, which band is this answer? This would be a band 9 answer. So it has a range of vocabulary. It accurately describes the graph. The grammar is very accurate as well. Stephen, it might be quicker if you click on the slide button, and then otherwise it could take a while.
Yeah. Which page was she after?
It's just the one with the whole structure on it. So it's about maybe in the sort of 30. It should say it's planning your essay or using a simple structure. Quite early on. And yet that's a really good suggestion, Minko, using a collocation dictionary to build your vocabulary. This is excellent. Excellent.
Okay, there we go. Let's have a look. There we go.
Excellent. And just to say as well for Jash, if you're interested, we do have a previous webinar on complex charts. So that is up on our YouTube channel. You can check that out. It looks at a more complex type of graph. So hopefully you'll find that one more useful. Today we're focusing on a more simple dynamic graph so that we can focus on language to describe change. It's nice to be able to focus on that specific language, but please feel free to check out our YouTube channel for other webinars on more complex charts. Okay, so here is the structure you can use. Many of you were asking about, should I include a conclusion? Should I include like an opinion? And Stephen, if you could just briefly recap that aspect for the task 1.
Yeah, I mean, you're not giving an opinion. You're only writing about what you can see. So even if you've got something where you could possibly, if, for example, no, I'm not going to say that. Yeah. Basically, just no opinions in task 1. Write what you can see. That's all you need to do. Conclusion, there's an opinion in it because you're summarizing your task 2 essay and you're giving your final comment on the topic. So if you notice what we talked about earlier, the overview is it's like a summary sentence. So it's summarizing the main trends on the graph. So you're not including an opinion in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I'm afraid we will need to wrap up for today. I apologize because we started a little bit late, so we didn't have time to get through all your questions. Feel free to get in touch with us via the website, IELTSonlinetest.com, also our Facebook page as well. If you'd like to send in additional questions, we'll do our best to get back to you. We do have a number of webinars coming up. You can see them via the webinar link, another one on Thursday at 5 p.m. And we have another webinar scheduled for next Monday at the same time as well. So if you have questions, feel free to join for a future webinar. If you put them in the Q&A at the start of the webinar, we will do our best to get to them as quickly as possible. Okay, so thank you very much for all your feedback. Very big thank you to Stephen for presenting.
No worries. Glad we managed to get there in the end, guys.
Yeah, it all worked out well. So thanks very much, Stephen. Thank you, everyone.
No worries.
And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Okay.
No problem. Good luck, guys, with your tests.
Yeah, definitely. Best of luck, everyone. See you again.